Hello everyone, Ben Cathro here. We've just witnessed one heck of a race here at Fort William for the opening round of the 2024 Downhill World Cup, and it's time for Story of the Race. Ow. So the juniors, it's the juniors that are impressing me. There's just more and more fast ones coming in. It used to be in the past that you'd be lucky maybe every now and then you get one fast one, maybe two if you were lucky. But now there's so many fast kids coming through the ranks, and it's making the elite riders nervous, especially when people like Jordan Williams win their first ever elite race back in 2023, or when Jackson Goldson threatens to win his first ever elite championship last year. There were also riders like Sasha Ernest and Aris van Leuven who just came out of what seemed like nowhere and just started winning races by massive amounts. No one can deny that the junior races are getting faster, and it's cool that we get to witness their feats on the live feed. And now this year we get to witness racers like Heather Wilson, who did the course preview for us a few days ago, win her first ever World Cup at her home race, and she was carrying an injury that may or may not have been caused by us putting a camera on her head and her getting a bit nervous and trying to go too fast. Those claims are not confirmed.
Oh my goodness, that was a bit slippy.
Also, first year junior Eliana Hulsbusch arrived at this race on a track that normally it takes you a while to get used to, and got on a podium at her first World Cup. There's going to be some fast junior racers over these next few years. And then there's the racer that everyone has been excited to see, Asa Vermette, who made it to this race despite not really supposed to have been healthy enough after he broke his hip. And luckily he made it to the race after recovering and gave us a look of what he is capable of, which is a lot as it happens. He rode a composed and controlled race that impressed everyone, and what was super impressive was his energy management, his pacing, and his wheel placement on the lower slopes. And it's this section on the lower slopes between the third split and the finish line, so the last two sectors, that Asa was so impressive. Like usually juniors, they get like overexcited and they're like, oh, it's a World Cup race, and they just try and pedal everywhere. And if you pedal in the wrong places, like over rocks or like where you might clip your pedal, the bike can kind of slip on things, and anytime the bike goes away from center line, it'll just lose a fraction of speed. So if you pedal in the wrong places, the bike slips, you lose speed. If you don't pump in the right places, you lose out on free speed that you can generate. And if you pedal too much, you lose energy and start caving in corners. And Asa just, like, it takes experience to know how to do this bottom section well. It took me years to figure out where to pedal, where to pump, and it seems like he arrived and just did it first time. His splits on these bottom two sectors were only 0.5 behind elite winner Bruni, and that is impressive. This is the section that takes you onto the motorway. Really fast because they had that new river gap that was stood in the landing, but you can see here, like the ground, it's soft, there's roots coming out, there's rocks. And like if you pedal, like say here, the bike gets unsettled, and the bike doesn't track through that stuff nicely when you're pedaling because chain tension and anti-rise that's tuned into the suspension doesn't work properly and it gets all upset, which is why you have to time your pedals, time your pumps. You want to unweight through that kind of stuff. Pump the transitions and backsides. And down here, let's look at this. Sections like this, deciding where to land. Do you try and get your wheels down early on the roots here, which might seem like a bad idea, but immediately after it there's a big soft hole, and if all your weight and momentum comes down into that soft hole, what happens is your wheels sink into it and you lose speed. You want to actually get all your weight down onto the firmer ground and then try and unweight through the soft hole. Or if you go a little bit too far to the left and catch one of the rocks, if you put your wheels in the wrong place, that's more speed that you've lost. But Asa was so precise. He just seemed to put the tires in the right place where he wasn't going to lose speed, he wasn't going to catch an edge. He pedaled in the right spots where it was smooth, where he had time to, and he didn't just dump all his energy into it so that he didn't have the strength for the corners. And the corners is the other bit that he did really well. Let's go to the corner at the motorway. This corner is so important for the last motorway. It's the last major turn for that last split of the track, and it is a biggie. Look at it. It's a monster. So if you've been pedaling your tits off further up the track, trying to get all the extra speed, bike pinging around, actually not generating more speed, but just using all your energy, you can get to a big corner like this, and because of the G-forces that are generated, because your upper body, there's a lot of mass up there, a lot of inertia, your body just wants to go in a straight line. Once it's moving, it just wants to keep going that way. If you try and make it go a different way, it creates a centrifugal force that tries to pull you down into the bike. And if you allow that to happen, by letting the arms and legs bend and kind of crumpling into the bike, what happens is that momentum gets absorbed by your muscles and it turns it into like heat and a bit of sound sometimes. You go as you go around the corner. And that means you go slower into the motorway. The speed trap's going to say 52 instead of 53 and you're going to lose the race. So Asa was very good at not doing that. But better than just resisting the forces, if you're fresh, you can actually put energy into the corner by straightening the arms and legs and pumping the bike round the corner, and it actually generates speed. And yet, Asa did that really well. It was very impressive to see the energy management, the wheel placement, just the flow that he had, and it meant that he was only 0.5 off of Bruni on these bottom splits, and Bruni won the race. So for a first-year junior to be that close is super impressive, and over the whole track, he was only about 2.5% behind Bruni and would have finished about 11th. Amazing. And then similarly, Heather Wilson was about 5% slower than Valley Hull, and she would have also been about 10th or 11th in elite. And it's wild. The junior races are getting better and better, but why? Why are they getting so good? And it's just when a sport matures, when it's been around for a while, what happens is more and more people do it, so there's more chance of good riders coming through. There's bike clubs that people go to and knowledge is shared. There's coaching camps. There's more coaches around to help train the riders, and there's just a wealth of knowledge online now. It used to be that you try and learn how to do stuff reading a magazine, and it's really hard to do, but there's loads of videos that you can see online, and there's loads of articles that just give all the knowledge to those younger riders to give them a head start. And it's like their careers are built on the shoulders of giants that have come before them, and it's just mint to see so many fast racers coming in. And it means great racing for us. It means the elites are bricking it because there's all these fast racers coming up, but it's only good for the sport. So, mint race, well done to all those new juniors coming up. Hope you watched it, hope you enjoyed. If you liked the little bit of analysis here, stay tuned for How to Bike. New season's coming and it's a good one, pretty happy with it. And yeah, I'm gonna see you in Poland. Never been there. No one's been there for a downhill race, and it should be good, and there's someone coming in a quad, so we're gonna end. Go, quick. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.